What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
Who are you people?
You people.
You people.
I just know that there's definitely like the Costco I went to over the weekend. Like the Costco I used to go to when I lived out in Aurora. Like there's an entire section of like cool meats and cheeses and whatever, like, you know, sausages and Italian foods and Mexican foods or whatever. And at the Costco I went to over the weekend in Littleton, all of that area was just booze. Just all booze.
Yeah. No, because after they got to start selling booze at all their locations, they used to have a separate liquor store. But when
I remember that.
when the law changed in Colorado a couple years ago, that made it, and all of a sudden, because Costco actually sources good product and therefore gets it and puts their name on it, the Kirkland whiskey or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of that comes from like superbly respected
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
sought
A lot
after
of their
stuff.
shit's like that.
Yeah.
Like if you go buy Kirkland brand diapers, it just looks generic as fuck, but they're actually like high-end Huggies or something crazy like that.
Right. Also, have you gone to the business center?
No, what's the business center?
The Costco Business Center is, in my opinion, if you're going strictly for food and or like other random stuff, not like you would, not consumer goods, but imagine if you were running a business, what you would want to see at a Costco, aside from food, that's what's there. But their food, bro, they have everything. You can buy a whole frozen goat if you really wanted to. They have, their meat prices are insane. You can get a whole prime rib for like half the price you would get it, and there's nobody there. There's no families there. It's all like
Now, do I have to have a business membership, or
No,
can I
you
go
do-
with my regular membership?
regular membership. It is the best.
Where's that at?
It's at Yuma, I think it's Yuma and Alameda.
Yep, it is. I've been there before. I was trying to think. I bought flour there for my work one day.
It is,
Yeah.
it-
Place is awesome.
dude. Their ramen selection is second to none. Like, it's not just like ramen, but like that kind of stuff. It's ridiculous. You walk into this place and you're like, oh, this is the Costco of my dreams. Like, you're not going to buy pots and pans or shit like that there.
Sure.
And you're not going to have a butcher. And you're not going to have the, like, the food at the end, where you can get the hot dogs or the slices of pizza. You don't have any of that. But you could buy, anything you want. It's mostly like what you would need to run a restaurant.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's fantastic.
And if you have a business license, you can buy cigarettes so cheap.
Yes, if you get a distributor license or wholesaler
Yeah.
license, and you go in there, you can get fucking cigarettes for nothing. Like
How
nothing.
do you get a wholesaler's license? Let's look into this. What if we open a bodega, a You People bodega?
I would love to do that.
Jeff, you ever work in a bodega?
No, I have not. Haven't had the pleasure.
Would you?
On 'em again?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
you
we're-
are. You
we're
just
going.
got to have the mic closer to your face.
All right, there we go. Say again. What was
Have
it?
you ever worked in a bodega?
I have not worked in a bodega.
You want to work in the bodega we're about to open?
No.
It'll sell fine merch. It'll sell
Nah.
good foods.
As great.
Anthony Armstrong will push his new religion through it.
It'll be a
No, I'm putting all my
It's a shell corporation for
working
it.
into my art, which fuels my comedy. But I'll stop by.
You
I
want
will,
to sell some of your art at my bodega?
dude. You know what? If I get the clearance from my rep, if it doesn't violate contracts, I'll do it. Heck yeah.
yeah.
I'm not really going to open a bodega, you guys. I'm too
Oh,
easy for
come
that.
on!
Oh,
Oh,
I
you
would-
got me in. I bought in, man.
I would love to run a
I'm
bodega.
easy. I'm capable of convincing anyone to do anything. It's a weird talent. I
That's
have.
I want to acquire. That's another thing. I want to acquire that ability,
What?
persuasiveness like that.
Persuasion.
Yeah.
It just comes with being confident.
Yes.
It's not like half of it is actually. It's probably more being confident than like just sounding confident. But like, I can have the ability to say any crazy ass thing I want, but I say it so confidently that it sounds like it's real. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And and that's funny. I have moments of that also. Again, it goes back to that thing he was saying that. So I have certain friends that I don't give a fuck what they think.
Yeah.
because they've, like my friend Doug, we've known each other, 26 years.
Is he like your hetero life mate?
He's like my hetero. His ex-girlfriend used to call me, like, if he was going to hang out with me, she'd be like, "Oh, are you off to see your man love? Your hetero man love?" And yeah, so it's like hetero life partner, best friend. I got two friends
like
like
Jay
that.
and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
But we've known each other so long that there's a point you reach like, oh, fuck it, we know each other, so that fear goes away.
Yeah.
And so but like with both, more so Keith. When Keith and I talk on the phone, it's just the most infantile bullshit. Hilarious though bullshit. We just talk shit, and there's no editing filter whatsoever.
Sure.
Yeah.
30, about to be 35-17 in favor of the Tide.
Fuck. Well.
148 left in the half.
As in Roll Tide?
Yeah.
Yes, as in Roll Tide and the Ohio State.
Oh, that's where I've heard that.
Dude,
The
that
Ohio.
place was so awesome. Like I visited there when I was 16 years old, just because my uncle lives in that, like near there. And I went on the campus, I went on the field, I went on to like where they were doing renovations, and it's called the Horseshoe because it's shaped like a horseshoe. But it was fucking dope being able to like play on the fucking grass, and all that shit. And then I like went and toured like the campus, and I was like, man, I could. And I'm 16, so like college is coming, and I'm like, I could fucking totally do this. And then when I was a senior, I looked into it, and it was going to cost me $32,000 a fucking semester.
Oh,
And this is in what, like
shit.
the early 2000s?
And
Like
that's
99,
2 semesters.
2000, yeah.
Damn, dude.
And I was like, fucking, dude, I can't. That's too much. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, if I
That's-
could go back to
yeah.
1993 when I got into the Art Institute of Colorado, I would have said, because it was 23,500 per year for a 2-year degree. I'm glad I did it because it indirectly.
Yeah. It worked out.
But if I could go back in time, I would tell my younger self, dude, save your money, go to the Art Students League because you're going in fine art anyway.
Yeah.
And it costs $100 a year.
Oh.
Right?
It's not a degree, but it's training.
Yeah.
Well, so where is Ohio State?
In
I was-
Columbus.
Oh, it's in Columbus. Okay.
Yeah,
That makes
it's in Columbus.
Cleveland or nothing. Fuck it.
No, I got love for all Ohio, man. I love Ohio.
Never been. I've heard good things.
I've driven through it a
They
handful
tell
of
me
times.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is there?
No.
Yep.
And
the football, North Canton.
They love Jesus, though. My God, do they love Jesus, a lot of them.
Dude,
Woof.
I've seen a lot of rural Jesus love this summer.
Yeah.
Or not this summer, but like this COVID.
Right,
As
right.
recently as like 2 weeks ago, like we went up to South Dakota, like fuck it. And then driving for work, man. Dude, I took this shit up to Spearfish, South Dakota last week.
Yeah.
And coming home on these like 2-lane backtops across Wyoming through these mountain passes, there's just crosses lit up. Just crosses.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, dude, did people die at all these places? Or are you warning me of
Well,
something?
the
Like,
Lord did.
the fuck is going on here? And then like Nebraska is chock full of anti-abortion and Jesus loves you billboards.
Oh,
Dude,
I saw-
heard a commercial. Sorry. And then you.
Oh, no.
I heard a commercial where you can call a 1-800 number and pray with one of Joel Olstein's people.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. I used to be one of those, not for Joel Olstein, but in the late 90s, I took a job in the call-in prayer center for Marilyn Hickey Ministries. This crazy redhead, not just an evangelist, but she was into that whole prosperity. If you take out your wallet and speak God's truth to it, you'll be a millionaire.
So you were taking calls, people that wanted to give money or whatever.
Well, here's the thing. We shook them down for the money after the prayer. They would be like, I just need a prayer partner to agree with me. Because there's this Bible passage that says, if 2 people agree on a thing, God will do it. And what a nice, what if I get 30 people? But
Yeah.
some of them
That's a
actually.
good loophole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So they'd call in and they'd
It keeps
say,
the absolute wackos out. All right, at least 2 of you
Oh,
gotta
no.
want this, not just
Yeah,
this one
well.
crazy fucker.
No, we got a lot of wackos on that on that phone line. But yeah, they would call in and be like, I just want to get back with my husband. I had a woman call me and she goes, so my poodle died 2 weeks ago, and I just want to pray that the Lord would resurrect him because he's all I got. Yeah, I shit you not. That was like real.
that's-
I'd just hang up on that
Yeah,
bitch.
Well,
Yeah.
we couldn't because you'd get fired. You had to follow these rules, and so you'd pray with
I
them.
gotta shake this poor dogless lady down after all.
Yeah, and then you have 7 minutes to pray, and then you have to turn that into, well, thank you for calling Maryland Hickey Ministries. Now we would like to put you on our mailing list for some great offers, and please kindly donate, 10% of your whatever.
So hold on. You
For
had
real.
exactly X amount of minutes to go through
Yeah.
the sob story or the appeasement of whatever faith they needed to be reinsured.
Yeah, totally.
But
It's
it was
kinda like
literally
getting
like a
through-
hard out. It was just like, amen. And so we want to let you know that.
Yep, and it was so, and I made it like 3 days, I think, and then I had I was driving home because it goes so much against my conscious, because my beliefs are, wait a minute, this ministry has hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're supposed to be fucking helping the poor, and you're like shaking them down for more money after you've made them cry in this heartfelt prayer.
Jesus wants me to have a bigger airplane
Yeah.
so I can touch more lives in the
Yeah,
name of Jesus.
Dude, you guys should check this video. There's a guy named Jesse Duplantis, and he's sitting talking to Kenneth Copeland, and he's saying, well, I'm flying in my G5 back from a conference, and the Lord said, hey, Jesse, how come you got such shitty faith? What? What do you mean, Lord? Well, you need to believe for a bit. You think I can't get you a bigger airplane than this hunk of shit? And it's like a $20 million airplane. Yeah. Yeah, oh, there he is.
Oh my god.
And type in the one. There's one where this female reporter is confronting Kenneth Copeland, and he's about to get in his SUV, and so what she's doing is she's asking him, well, you told people that you can't fly commercially because that would be like flying in a tube of demons. And so she's shaking him down, and he's sitting there like, hey, you don't. How dare you quit? And he looks like a demon himself.
Well, I mean, those guys are fucking man. shit.
Here's the problem with
They're
that,
the
Joe, is there's a lot of demons in religion.
They're
these
turning our
days,
babies into frogs.
and they're making those frogs gay, Joe. They're making them gay with the fluoride in the water. I'm telling you, I'm sorry about Sandy Hook, you guys. I apologize for Sandy Hook. But I'm right a lot of the time, Joe. And you know what I'm talking about even before I say it, Joe.
God damn it, that's the most spot on
Yeah.
Alex that I've heard.
Yeah, that's fucking good.
Dude, I
Dude,
used
and
to
I can
listen
turn
to,
it on and off, too.
do you guys remember back in the 90s, all through the 90s, the Art Bell show on AM radio?
Dude, I still listen to Coast to Coast.
I think I'm going to have to start, because that's the first show that Alex Jones ever went on to. Like, he had his own thing out of Austin, but then they put him on that show, and I'm like, wow, this guy's fucked.
That's the.
Dude, I remember during the first Bush, or not
Yeah.
the first Bush, but
Junior.
Bush 2.
Bush too.
I remember him being on AM radio out here. Like, it was Alex Jones in the morning, and
Yeah.
then Rush Limbaugh, and then Glenn Beck in the afternoon.
Oh, shit.
Glenn.
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, because I was a security guard around that time. And, George Nori would come on
At like
for-
11.
at 11. And then after that, for a while, there was a guy who did a show called Dreamland, and it was all dedicated to, like, UFO stuff, Area
Nice.
51.
Yeah, I think it was AM Coast to Coast, where I heard a story. This guy called in. This is where I started believing that UFOs might not be real.
Okay.
No. This guy calls in and goes, "Yo, like, I can explain to you why we saw a really big uptick of like UFOs like in the 50s and 60s and shit." And the reason why was because the Soviet Union was trying to scare us into thinking, giving us like the War of the World shit, like. You know what I'm saying?
Like H.G.
and
Wells
flying
shit,
these
yeah.
goofy fucking planes over just to scare the shit out of us, And the way that they made them fly they would surgically like engineer children to fit into these fucking things and fuck up their eyes to where they look
Oh
like
yeah,
they
they
were.
took.
Yeah.
I heard they took
Yeah.
radiation victims,
Yeah.
and they even have pictures side by side. Like here's a drawing of an alien, and here's a kid that's got they like try to bleach out all the burn marks, but their eyes are like an acid trip. Big eyes.
Yeah,
And all
or like
Really?
and then
yeah.
This is fascinating.
that.
to
Yeah,
me.
look that
And
up.
then-
Tavistock, I think, is the.
and then
institute.
but also the point he makes, he goes, well, if that's the case, then why wouldn't we say something as a country? Like like they would, like, if your leg was too long to get into the thing, they cut your fucking foot off and let it heal, and then just put a stump in there and have you fly this fucking plane with a stump. They didn't give a fuck about these people. But
Oh,
like,
no, yeah.
the thing is that he goes, why didn't the Americans say something? This is so horrific. And the guy's like, well, because we were kind of doing it too.
Dude, I
Like,
just saw a thing
yeah,
where there's
so-
this doctor of neuroscience who speaks for 2 hours on the current, like the really fucked up shit that electronically and like what our brain can how we can be manipulated. And so he's an ethics professor, and he basically says, well, it turns out that it is ethical because if we're not going to use it, they're going to use it.
That's like a preemptive strike.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So it's like, oh yeah, good
Yeah,
one.
that's smart.
If I can brainwash you, then the colonies can't brainwash you. I'm telling you, Joe.
Well, that's what,
fluoride in the water making the frogs gay.
Oh,
and
I'm
here's
jealous.
another thing, Joe. They've known since. I'll tell you what, Joe. When I was young, I was dating this really hot girl, and I remember her dad was like, "She's really pretty, right? You want to fuck her?" And I was like, "Yes, sir." And she goes, "I don't blame you. I enjoy fucking her." And I was like, "What, sir?" And she was like, "Yeah, man. This is how we get down. We're Satanists, and we want you to be part of our secret Satan League." And Joe, I thought about it for about 10 seconds, and I knew I couldn't sell myself out, but I did want to fuck that girl, Joe.
I love it when he goes into, I got the documents right here,
Yeah.
and they're just photocopies of like.
I'm kind of retarded. I like that.
Did you see the one where they got him really stoned?
That was the one.
Oh,
He pauses for like a second. Goes, Joe, I'm really retarded.
Wasn't that was on
Yeah.
Rogan, right?
Yeah, it was
yeah,
Rogan,
Joe
yeah.
Rogan, yeah.
Oh, dude, my entire impression is just Alex Jones on Joe Rogan. Like, I don't watch the Alex Jones stuff.
Hey, do you guys
can you do,
remember like 2 years ago when Elon Musk went on Joe Rogan and got high, and
Yep.
then his
And
board of
Tesla stock dropped.
and the board of directors like removed him from control, and as of I believe Saturday, he was richer than Jeff Bezos. His net worth is that has surpassed Jeff Bezos because
Wow.
the Tesla stock went
Now,
through the
what if
fucking
Jeff
roof.
Bezos had been able to keep all of his money?
Well, that's a great point because even when he lost half, she became the second richest person on earth, and he was still the richest. Like that's so fucking.
I actually
That
amazing.
heard-
gives you an idea of the scale.
I actually heard today that he actually fell from 1 to 2 because I guess he lost like
Yeah, no.
$18 billion overnight somehow.
Who Musk?
Yeah.
yeah, it probably happened, but for a brief period there, which you're never there for just a second. Like if you get to that point, that's not fleeting.
Unless you're doing like speculative stocks where it can go up and down like wildly.
Yeah, but if
'Cause there
it's
have
hi-
been.
but
So,
if it's
okay,
his
what's
company,
Musk worth?
you know,
Pull it
it's-
up. I'm
Well, that's a
curious.
different. Yeah, you're right. He can't.
I don't know what any of them are worth.
I think he's worth like
yeah,
100
10 richest people. Type that in or something.
117.
Like, who's
there
going
you
to be the first trillionaire?
Oh, the Windsors already have that.
Windsors?
You know, the royal family.
Technically, the Windsors, yes, but nobody actually has a dead number on that.
It's not liquid. It's like they have real estate.
Yeah,
all
I mean
over
they
it.
own like 30% of Great Britain, technically.
They own DIA. I heard. Well, that was on Alex Jones, so maybe not.
No, that's true, Joe. There's a bunker built underground for the DIA.
They feed homeless
And all the rich people have a place there. And I'll tell you why, Joe. It's because Denver is set up to be the next capital when they fuck up D.C. When D.C. is completely ruined, which they're working on right now. If you notice, those people were let into the Capitol. Those cops did not stop
Actually,
those people until they
that
were
does seem to
in
be
the
true.
building.
I saw that video.
And then the chaos came. And a lot of those people were recognized by facial recognition to be Antifa and Black Lives Matter affiliated. But no one wants to talk about that. What I can tell you is that Denver has a bunker under the airport for rich people and elites.
Level 7.
Jay-Z has a bunker there.
Bundaberg will be held
Clintons
out
have
from
a bunker
there.
there.
Oh yeah, the new Bilderberg.
Bilderberg. I said
Bezos?
I used to think that said Build a Bear.
Bezos is working on a spaceship. Bezos isn't worried about what happens on this planet. He's trying to figure out how to get to the next planet.
So as of December 28th, according to this, it's Jeff Bezos is at $187 billion, Elon Musk
give
at
me some of that.
$167 billion, Bill Gates at $131 billion, and Bernard Arnault. I'm not familiar with him.
What about Bezos' wife?
Yeah, she's like in the top 10. I
No,
think.
she gave it all away.
Really?
Oh, that's baller. How do you give away the largest fortune on the planet? Like, who do you give it to? Where'd it go?
She's given stuff to tons of charities in variety of states, but she's like, no human should have this amount of money, and so she's literally actively donating it in the tune of like millions of dollars a day.
That's awesome.
Oh.
Good for her.
Because she was just like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, like people like Bezos, Musk, Gates, Buffett, and countless other billionaires are all part of this thing of like give it all away before you
Here's-
die. But it's just like cool. But you're also going to live forever because you have the money to live forever.
It's like that scene in Talladega Nights. You know, Lucius, with my level of income and the way modern science is, it's not crazy to think that I can't live to be 200-300 years old.
Exactly.
I love that movie. Dear Lord, baby Jesus.
You know, there was a time in our history where a couple of dudes like bailed out America. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah,
Feller
Rockefeller.
and fucking Carnegie.
Carnegie, yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I
they
was going
fucking
to.
basically were like, "Oh, you guys are in trouble, man. All right, here's a check. Go fuck yourself."
Yep.
Yeah, Carnegie was
Yeah.
the other one.
I
Yeah.
was reading this book. I don't know how accurate it is because, you know, it's the history we're given or whatever. But apparently during, like, the founding of the country, like the Revolutionary War and all that shit, there's all these, like, leaders of the time, like the people that wrote the Constitution and shit, always refer to having to talk to their money guy. And it turns out that there's, like, this one Jewish guy basically funded the founding of America. Like, he bankrupted his entire family fortune, but he helped
Yeah, I could see
create
that.
America.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, have you seen the documentary on the Hollywoodization of America or something like that? And it shows how Louis B. Mayer and all those guys that came over from Israel not only built an entire culture from kind of their grand view of Judaism, like the Manifest Destiny thing, that even affected like the
Wasn't
lead.
Louis B. Mayer German?
No, well, that was I'll have to. No, I think he was. Well, he was either funded by Jewish people or he himself was, but that was.
Oh, he was definitely Jewish, but he was a German because he predated World War II.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, but anyway, it's on YouTube. It's an interesting thing because even so, like the American dream and a lot of the things that we sort of. The fantasies that we
The
have
layout of the country, if you will.
yeah,
And then larger in
It-
relation to the world
but it comes
was
from
all laid out basically during the end of World War II.
Yeah, so like that's what the claim they make in that documentary is that here's how the kind of the personality of America was largely shaped. It was through Hollywood.
I believe that to this day. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean it does. You can see how it lead one thing. Okay, for example, the whole this is a very interesting phenomenon. I've noticed that how people tend to think about politics mirrors the we got to be number one like a football team. The same
yeah,
emotions.
right.
It's like I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican.
It's a
and-
sport
yeah.
for people that don't like sports.
Yeah.
But
And
just
some
like-
people take it as far as it's a religion for people that don't
Yeah.
have religion.
And
Yeah.
just like
Totally.
how DC is basically Hollywood for ugly people.
oh,
Fuck
dude,
you.
for real.
Say whatever you will. AOC has tremendous tits.
Oh, they're just that is.
I'll
Yeah.
I have yet to see proof of that, so until you can show me something, I'm saying thumbs down to that claim.
on AOC's tits. I mean, I can't find.
Yeah, are
them.
you going to show me that dumb video of her dancing in a T-shirt again that was
No.
supposed to be all risque or whatever?
Dude, she's got great tits.
No, she doesn't. You're just infatuated because she's famous.
They're not bad, man. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, if you put
Best
her,
tits in government.
That's a low
So?
bar. That's a low bar.
Bested.
dude,
of-
It's
best
like
tits
so-
in government is like greatest retard in the country.
It's like her
fucking cares?
fucking Nancy
Fair,
Pelosi. Like it's the
for real.
Fuck
I taught a no. Speaking
that's
of
how
that,
far the bar is.
Imagine if
I told-
Pelosi did a topless shot and she has got like A+ tits, and you're like 90. How? And she's
she
just
has
like,
the money, dude.
know.
Look at all.
She's got. They're huge, but they're
She's
old
been
lady
consuming adrenochrome since the 70s.
big. They're
Dude,
like,
I taught an art class at the Denver Free or Colorado Free University, and there was this old drunk dude that would come to the class all the time. And I remember walking in a little late, and all I heard was him going, "I don't care, I'd eat Nancy Pelosi's pussy anytime. Put her right here on this table."
Jesus.
And I quit at that moment.
No, but like
I don't know
I
what
bet she has
Nancy
nice-
Pelosi looks like, but I imagine it's terrible.
she's old.
Show her from 1990 though. She was a little hottie back in the day, 30 years ago.
Nancy
Pelosi, like in the 90s or 1990.
Like now she's just. I mean, she's. I don't know.
This. She's literally the worst.
Is that from 1990?
No.
Oh,
That is awful, though.
she looks like a Chihuahua.
Dude, no, she's a doddering old Italian woman. That's what it is. That's their wall. Like
That's her in 90 something.
yeah, like they hold well for a long time, but when they hit the wall, They hit it hard.
Oh yeah.
Real fucking
No,
hard.
man, you can already see the jowls. She looks like she's got an angry vagina.
Well, I stand
That looks
corrected.
like the type of bitch that punches herself in the face when she masturbates.
I'm also gonna like
I don't deserve pleasure. I haven't screwed enough people over yet.
the thing that troubles me the most about this is that she's been in government since 1990.
Earlier.
It's 31 years later. Go home.
Well, look at Biden.
We don't need you
47.
anymore.
yeah, there's
47 years Biden's been in.
Well, who was the one as we were growing up? It wasn't Orrin Hatch, was it?
Not Thurman Thomas. Was
I
want to say
he switched parties too.
yeah.
And people wonder why I want term limits for everything.
well, see, and the fucked up part is that I can't imagine there's anybody in the world that disagrees with you more than the fucking 200-something people that have to vote to make it happen, which is them. Like,
Yeah.
they get to decide. It's like, wait, you mean
Dude,
I
you
can't
know-
do this
okay,
anymore?
Here's
Why would
my
I vote
biggest-
for
'cause
that?
Is she a senator or a congresswoman?
She's a
She's the House Majority
she's
Leader,
a
so
representative.
Well,
What
she's-
the fuck
no, she's
does
the
that
speaker.
mean? Dumb it down for me.
She's the Speaker of the House. She
Speaker.
is,
that
the
that
House.
that comes out of Congress, so she's a congresswoman.
Yeah.
And
she's
then
in Congress, but she's a member of the House of Representatives.
which
She
is
a-
Congress. That's the fancy name for.
Congress is
Cong-
both houses.
Oh, right. The Senate is the
The Majority Leader up until maybe a week from now is Mitch McConnell, but she's the Speaker
House-
of the House, which is elected once one party has a majority. They elect a Speaker of the House. She's third in line for the presidency.
So at this moment, it goes Trump, Pence,
Pelosi.
Velociraptor.
Yes,
Okay.
accurately phrased. And then after that, I don't.
No, the
Then it
only
goes
thing
to-
I really know about this bitch is I hate her and I hate Steve Mnuchin.
Oh, the Fed,
And that's
the
only
Fed
because,
chairman,
huh?
Yeah,
the Fed chairman.
No, he's the Secretary of the Treasury.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you.
Because they can't get their shit together enough to come up with a fucking stimulus package. How come?
No, that's
we're-
largely because of Mitch McConnell.
Well, fuck Mitch McConnell too. I hate all of them.
Oh, he's a piece of shit.
They voted to give themselves a raise in the height of COVID to the tune of like another $57,000 a year.
Oh yeah.
And we got a $600 stimulus check so far.
We haven't even gotten that.
Some
Have you
people,
gotten
no,
your
the
new one?
first stimulus.
It was 12. At least
oh,
it
yeah,
was
no,
12.
it was 1,200 per person. And now the second one is supposed to be what, 600? And now, like, I was curious. I was like, track my stimulus. It's like, oh, we don't know. We don't have that
Yeah, of course
information. Good luck.
It all got.
And then it's all, here's a recommended idea. You can claim it when you file your taxes. I'm like, what in the fuck are you people doing, man?
it is.
Didn't
no,
they
that whole
promise us like $2,000 a person if they voted them two fuckers down in Georgia in? And then as soon as they voted them two fuckers in, they're like, we got to impeach Trump. Fuck Trump. He's only got a week left. We got to kill him.
oddly, Trump vetoed the original bill. The original would have kept the CARES Act going because there was too much "quote unquote" pork in
yep.
it.
An insane amount.
And it was crazy. Like if you look at some of the things that like got through on that, the House then
What was it? Yeah, like 600 million to Pakistan for.
yeah,
the,
there was a lot of foreign aid, and then there was a couple. There was another one I read that was just like, oh, it's now signed into law that the Pentagon has to release all information relating to UFOs that it has. Period. That's now a law. And only because after Trump vetoed it because of all the pork and the low payment, and it was Trump that wanted $2,000.
For sure.
Yeah.
The House overruled his veto because they had the power to do that. And then it hit the Senate with the $2,000 thing and all this shit. And McConnell was like, yeah, no, we're not even going to take a vote on that because he's House Majority Leader. Well, he is for 9 more days. Yeah. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the first half of this year because you have a Democratic president, a Democratic House, a Democratic Senate.
I have 3 legitimate questions. This is not me being a conspiracy theorist. This is not me hating the government. This is legitimate questions.
Sure.
I obviously don't watch the news. I obviously don't
More
follow
power
a lot
to
of
you.
shit. However, I am stuck with fucking AM/FM radio in my truck at the moment.
Sure.
So I hear just endless gobs of whatever.
Yep.
I am led to believe, I don't know if this is true, We were told if we vote those people into Georgia, they were going to just make $2,000 stimulus checks happen. There was nothing holding them back.
It's very likely because then the Senate isn't, but it takes until they're actually put into place, so 9 days.
No, they are, but Trump's in office. They're already there. It's just Trump's in office.
Once
Once
he's-
Trump's out and Biden's in, that switches it to Democrat because Kamala Harris will be the vice president.
Right. So it all becomes, yes, it's very likely
So
that a lot of
anyways-
things, but we have to watch
Yeah,
the
we were,
pork.
okay, but we were promised a stimulus check that may or may not come at some insane price for the future.
Fair.
I was also told, and this pertains to me because I have student loan debt, that he wants to basically, is the day Biden takes office, he wants to be like $10,000 of student loan debt free to everyone, basically.
He wants to do that, yes. I
don't know if he can or not. I'm not sure what the logistics are on that because it's a government contract.
It's one of the things that he wants to do. And anything that's a government loan, I'm sure he can do, but anything that's taken through a bank.
Yeah, see, my problem
different
is that
story.
my student loan got bought by a bank,
Right.
so I'm dodging them for the rest of my life.
Well, I believe it's just something that gets like every person with student loans over $10,000, like $10,000, or what, like every person with student loans will cover up to $10,000. Boom.
That's
And,
what I've heard, but I don't. That's
You know, no
probably
one
gonna
knows
have-
what the logistics are. That
Right. I don't know how that. I don't think it can be an executive order. It has to be signed off as a, by Congress and so on.
I have this weird feeling from what I've been watching and seeing. I think January 20th is going to be fucking gnarly.
Oh, it's going to be
And
nuts.
I think it's going to be gnarly all over the place, not just in D.C.
So
Why?
take this for what you okay.
I'm not saying I have proof. I just get that vibe. I got it on the 6th, kind of like a little bit, and then after what happened there with the whole thing, with what they're calling an insurrection, whatever. But that fucking thing, I was like, oh, that ain't good. But it was. We just keep on building up to something, and I think that will be the day that I think something wild's gonna happen. I don't know what. I'm not claiming anything. I'm just.
Well,
It's a
he
vibe.
signed the Insurrection Act, so the military's now
It could be
in,
right-
in
yeah.
flight, and they're going to arrest all these pedophiles, satanic
Because
pedophiles.
you're taking them off of the
You do the
internet.
better
You're
version.
taking them off of the internet. You got
better,
rid of
though.
Parlor. Parlor's fucking dead. So that's fucking gone now. You kicked them all off of fucking Twitter and Facebook. So they can't communicate anymore. So you're just driving this shit deeper underground. You're telling me that they're not going to find a way? Ham radios probably. They'll fucking get
well,
ham
Parler right now is
No, I'm
building
just saying
its own.
something's going to happen, dude.
So-
People blow off like right-wing extremism until it happens, and then they
Right.
pretend like they knew about it all along.
I'm going to pause you
This
before
sh-
you go.
This shit is coming. Be prepared. It's not a good thing. I think it's awful, but
We work with people
yeah.
that communicate outside of all of those things.
Yeah.
They exist on the dark web.
Yeah.
That's where the right-wing extremism or whatever it is, it's all going to exist. It's just they're going to find a way. This is the same thing that Antifa has done for way longer. It's just these dumb fucking white supremacists are just now
Well, that's
figuring
the
it
thing.
out.
But that's I don't know. That's kind of lazy because it's not just them. They might be in the group. They're a small part of that group, but they might be in the group. Whatever. Every group has their assholes. You're talking about like nationalist dudes, not white supremacists, but like people who love America like too much. You know what I mean? Like and like they got their guns and they got all this shit, and you're literally telling them to go fuck themselves. You've been doing it for the past 4 years. The guy you elected sucks, and we're gonna throw him out of office. And then you do this shit to them. They're not the victims. That's not what I'm saying. You gotta remember, like this shit might happen. So don't pretend like you're shocked because you've been poking a bear for a real long time. You're pissing them
Oh,
off.
and they have militias too.
Yeah.
like the Michigan.
Yeah, that's
militia
what
and
I'm
all that
saying.
shit. Yeah.
They just haven't done anything. You're poking bears, man. Like just I don't know. Just
I mean, I see. You'll see a blurb from somebody who will say, "Yeah, we're just waiting for the orders, man."
they love them. Go ahead, man.
So my daily dive into the conspiracy world because it keeps me somewhat sane. There's already planned armed marches on every state capital in this country
The FBI
between the
announced it.
16th and the 20th.
The FBI,
Every
Oh, that's why they
capital.
put troops there or whatever.
all 50.
yes, the FBI sent a memo to all 50 state capitals today telling them to be ready.
Oh my God, dude, you serious?
Yes. It was literally a headline I read.
Dude, I
in
work.
the
Dude, we work
hour
right
bef-
near the fucking Capitol. Like, no joke. I could see it from work. I'm like 4 blocks away from that bitch.
See, everyone thought the riots were all crazy when it was like all the just the protest riots or whatever.
The
Wait until you piss off a bunch of rednecks that love their guns,
The
man.
FBI is warning
fuck are you
officials
doing?
in
Yeah.
all 50 states of planned armed riots at state capitol buildings and the U.S. Capitol. According to an FBI bulletin obtained by ABC News, numerous protests start this week and continue at least until Inauguration Day. Quote, the FBI received information about an identified armed group intending to travel to Washington, D.C. on 16th of January. They have warned that if Congress attempts to remove the President of the United States by the 25th Amendment, a huge uprising will occur.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So, the rest of this gets into non-factual opinion. So,
And who's going to profit from it? 'Cause
So
or-
can
order-
we
order
go?
of-
Bilderberg
Order-
Group is going to come in.
Yeah.
Legitimately,
Well,
since
G20,
Anthony's,
the
since
Hegelian
Anthony's
dialect.
not here tonight, can I go like a little conspiracy
Go
heavy
for
on
it,
this?
man.
Do it.
Oh, does he not permit that?
Man, as
No,
soon
it's
as
just
I
really
dive
hard.
into it, he's like, it doesn't matter, man. It's not about this.
He's been on a kick for the last 6 months. He's discovering a new perspective on things, and he uses this forum to really get it out. And I support it. It can be
And-
challenging
yeah.
at times.
He's also
but-
dragging. He's also dragging me through it, but it's more like,
Yo, come on, Jake! And I think as all 4 of us, oddly in this room, like every once in a while, Armstrong says something to you directly that really makes you think about yourself,
Right?
and you
right.
potentially get better
Let's
from it.
stop
I'm not going to
verbally blow
suck his
him with this-
dick any longer.
yeah.
But I don't give a fuck. Conspiracies. Go
Yeah,
for
go.
it.
Hell yeah.
I'm in.
Dude, I have seen a fair amount of footage based on the raid at the Capitol. Okay,
Right.
Fair.
a lot of it's like video clips shot on cell phones and shit.
Yep.
A lot of people have been arrested. There was that guy that was dressed like a Chewbacca bikini guy or whatever with
My
horns.
Oh, yeah, the
Fucking-
horn guy.
His
That guy got
politics
arrested?
aside, my fucking hero.
The
He
guy
had
that was
cameras in
walking
those
around with
horns.
Nancy Pelosi's little
Her lectern.
Lectern.
Yeah, that
Which
guy
made
got
it onto
arrested.
eBay.
There was a lawmaker from like West Virginia that sat at her seat and put his feet up on her desk. That guy got arrested.
Yeah, he did.
Did you see how easy it was for them to get into that building?
The police waved them through and said, "Come on, come on, come on." There's video of that.
Dude,
That's
yeah, there is
different.
video of that.
I have
There's
a lot
also
of thoughts on this, and I'll let
Yeah.
you go, but go for it.
so there's that. That building should be more secure at all times than it was that
Yep.
day. And it didn't okay. I get that President Trump was having a rally down the road. Do what you got to do, man. Cling to whatever weird hope you've got until they take it all away from you. But the timing of when he was like giving his speech versus when the people breached, there was not enough time to make it from the Trump rally to what like the breaching.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
The breaching coincident, the magic of coincidence. The super simple breaching where people were able to just get in happened right as they were contesting the Arizona election results.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ted
well, no,
Cruz
that's when
was
they
in the
were
middle of
certifying the election.
Yeah,
yes.
well, Ted Cruz was in the middle of objecting, and then they cut him off.
Yeah, they cut them off and they rushed everyone out
So
because there was madness and they got seized and like it was the worst, most tragic thing since 9/11 and this day will go on in infamy. But they let those motherfuckers in and timed it perfect to fuck up, to make sure that no one else would contest the election. Now it's that Trump unleashed these monsters on us and he's got to be fucking put down.
there's an
And that's not how the timeline works, man.
But your conclusion there is a little different, and I want to talk a little bit about the breaking the sort of the perimeter, if you will. So the video that you probably saw, where it's the police opening the
Yeah, the
barricade.
gates, yep.
So when you file a petition to demonstrate on the actual Capitol steps, and there is a formal process that you go with. I know this because my other half worked as a government employee in D.C., My sister-in-law, if you will, worked for the Pentagon as a liaison, an international liaison. Her brother was high up in Homeland Security. They've all left that at this point. But having been to DC a lot and understood how security protocols work, the video in that particular scenario is they all had to go through a security checkpoint. They pool you and then they let you in. They had filed a permit. Now, what that permit allows you to do is there are 3 tiers of steps for the Capitol.
Right.
You file a permit for how many steps you want to be on. The second step is the highest. The third set of steps is underneath the rotunda or one of the rotundas, and you're not allowed to go there.
Right.
So they had every legal right under police supervision to be there, and they controlled that, and I guess they had every reason to believe that it was going to be fine. Even though you can talk about how they kept the National Guard and shit away, them going into the Capitol, that's not a thing, and that's why some people fucked around and found out and got shot in the fucking face.
Yeah.
Like, I'm amazed that
that
not
woman
every
that got
single
shot.
one of them got shot in the face. That blows my mind.
You don't think that's on purpose?
Not well, maybe, but when Congress is in session, security is no fucking joke, and as soon as there's a problem, yeah, most of them descend to protect the elected officials,
How
and
did
so then
that
you can
many
run around.
people get in? How did that many people get in and fuck around for that long?
I mean, once you got the door open, a flood of people, I'm sure, because they have the video of that one cop that like keeps backing up because there's like a wall of people pushing at him, and so I don't know how I would handle that.
Right, and that's the thing is like when you talk to my partner and others, they're just like, dude, where was Capitol security? Like Capitol security
they were told
is
to
no
stand down.
fucking
Dude, I think
may
they were
very
told to
well
stand
be
down.
true.
I think they were told to be lax. That way that thing could, because they knew there was going to be a protest. You couldn't deny there was going to be a protest because the president was holding it 4 miles down the road or 2 miles down the road.
I think somewhere in their brain they think like, oh, this is like a support of our president, and therefore they're going to be well-behaved patriots.
And a lot of people do
No,
think
that's
that
not
way,
what these
though.
people think.
Some of them do,
I
though.
believe-
I've
Some
seen
of
interviews.
them might. Some of them might. But of these severe politicians, they're not thinking. Dude, I think this was a false flag event that was allowed to happen. I'm not saying that the people didn't break in. Those people broke in. I saw those videos.
Well, did
if
you
you're
hear?
dumb enough to break into Pelosi's office and sit at her desk, you're retarded. That's on you.
If you don't get shot for that, you're going to
But
end
the
up in
fact
the
that
you
that
got
many
erased.
the fact that that many people breached and only 5 got killed.
4 of them
There's
cops.
no fucking way.
No, sorry,
There's
th-
no
three-
fucking way.
3 cops.
3 cops, two
And then the
civilians.
one guy who tasered his nuts until he had a heart attack.
Yeah.
I think it was a
Oh.
lie hop.
A what?
A lie hop?
What's a lie hop?
Fuck,
I'm not familiar.
it's an acronym. I'm trying to think.
How do you spell it? L-I?
like allowed to happen or something like that.
Oh, okay. I got you. That's kind of how I feel about Oklahoma City.
Yeah, they knew,
Yeah.
and then they let it
Yeah.
happen,
Yeah.
just like 9/11.
Well, they're always pushing these things like the whole Hegelian dialectic crisis.
But I
cri-
dude,
crisis.
I think
cri-
those
hold on,
people were let
cri-
in. Oh, sorry.
Well, just real quick, crisis action or crisis reaction solution. So the government, let's say they want to advance, the Patriot Act, and Donald Rumsfeld. Remember when he said we need another Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, well-
So it's like here's this thing that happens, the public reacts, and then now we can implement what we always wanted: crisis reaction solution.
Well, I mean, I also believe that they, like with McVeigh. McVeigh was who he was. He was just he fucking hated the government. He saw what happened at Ruby Ridge and at Waco. And was like, I'm gonna kill these motherfuckers. But he had no way to do it. And then I think the government, like someone from the government, walked up and said, "What's that? You hate them too?"
Yeah, they
Hey.
sent him Terry Nichols.
And then they made them meet and then said, hey, you guys should get some fertilizer, man. It's real easy. And then they just fucking did that. And I mean, they did the crime, but like, I think they were nudged a lot.
Well, and remember Rahm Emanuel, he famously said, we never let a crisis go to waste.
Yeah, everyone,
so it's like a crime of opportunity.
I mean, it just sucks because it's like there's an old adage that this libertarian I know says. He goes, "The government will break your legs and then hand you a crutch."
Oh, I like
So,
that
anyways,
quote.
back to
Yeah.
my theory.
Go ahead.
Right.
I believe that the protesters that were let in at a very specific time to create chaos during that first election discrepancy hearing or whatever when Ted Cruz was like, there's something wrong with this. That's the perfect timing when all of a sudden these people come in. By the time they all come back, no one can test shit for the rest of the election.
Yep.
So wait,
And
I fully believe it was allowed to happen so they could just blaze through this Biden thing like he gets the electoral or whatever, he gets elected without anyone questioning whether or not there was fraud because everyone we were attacked. What is this? Now Trump is the universal bad guy. And if they can manage to impeach him, it means he can never run again for future presidency.
so are you then suggesting that the people that stormed the Capitol are largely patsies because they went there under the guise of they were supporting?
I
Trump.
think some people were just extremists that did legitimately support Trump. There were those people there. I also believe that there are people there that had nothing to do with Trump support, but just taking advantage of a chaotic situation.
I believe that.
Like
too.
if you already have an army of protesters at your disposal, you can tell that army of protesters, dude, go grab you a MAGA hat.
Yeah,
and
what?
fucking dress like this, and we'll go rush this shit. No one will question anything.
Yeah, remember the
Because
guy
there's
that
endless testimony of that type of shit. They're like, yeah, man, we're just hanging out, and it's like all these families. There's kids, and then this guy in all black with a fucking backpack shows up and pulls out a flare and throws it at a cop. Wow. There was definitely people that were planted to create chaos, and a lot of people didn't take to it because it's not what they wanted. They feel ripped off because they feel that their election was stolen from them. No matter how you slice it, more than 70 million people voted for that man.
That is accurate.
And they feel like they got ripped off because of election fraud.
Not just that, whenever they are expressing their feelings about being ripped off, they're told to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And called stupid and called
Insane.
insane, fucking this has been the fairest election ever. And then if you bring up anything to counterpoint what they're saying, they fucking shame you with ad hominem
and
attacks.
deplatform you.
And deplatform you, get you kicked off of shit. These motherfuckers aren't playing around.
Twitter deplatformed 70,000 people today.
Yeah. There has been a mass purge.
conservative
See what
views.
that looks like is don't look here, don't
Yeah.
you're, that if you truly believe that something's fair or whatever, you'd say, yeah, come on in, check everything.
Yeah.
Because I'm so confident of my
Joe, it's one thing when they deplatformed me. I had a plan. I was already rich. I built a website. Go to Infowars.com.
Get the survival water pack and
I want to present a supportive, albeit somewhat counter perspective to that.
All right.
Yes, so let's just talk about Trump, okay, as far as the deplatforming goes, because I think it's a reasonable allegory for everything at all.
Yeah.
I'm amazed personally that he got kicked off of Twitter and Facebook prior to him no longer being president. That actually amazed me. However,
I have a theory on that.
it is, I think we can all agree that under free market economics that Twitter, Facebook can do that.
Oh,
You're
but actually,
allowed.
no, you can't. There is a specific law that basically, if you do that, you are now a publisher and you do not have those rights.
No, they
That's-
ban
that's-
people all
That's what the
fucking
law
time.
is.
No, it's Section 230. That's
Yeah.
why they get that protection because of Section 230. So, and the Section 230 basically states you are unsuable. Like if I say I'm going to do this on Twitter, you can't then sue me and Twitter. You can just sue me.
Because
And
you're
they
a
get-
platform, not a publisher.
So that's basically a subsidy. So I mean, I
Hold
get what
on.
you're saying.
I
But
know.
yeah.
They are allowed to decide who gets to use their platform. Period. So the Amazon thing was super interesting that they just decided to cancel their contract. That
Yeah.
blew my mind. However,
Oh,
in
'cause
a
they were the
free
server
market,
for
in
Parler?
a free market capitalist society, that is 100% allowed. I do not agree with this.
Yeah.
Okay. I do not agree with what they did. It reads wrong. However, if you look at the reality of their situation, they are going into a blue universe. There is no Republican power, period, left in the government as of January 20th. And they're
It's like
and
when the
while
Empire took over the galaxy.
when people talk about the Republicans being the ones that are so conservative, the one thing that they haven't really been on is a free speech kick. The liberals have always been the ones that want to censor speech. You got to prepare for a fucking at least the next 2 years. And I think that's exactly what all these is. Jack Dorsey wasn't a fucking blue guy. He was sort of the go fuck yourself kind of guy.
Yeah.
But even he is sort of like,
Well, he doesn't even. He owns like 1% of the fucking company. He's just the founder. So
Jack
but-
Dorsey's the
yeah.
Twitter guy with the beard.
yes.
Yeah. Like he doesn't. He's because he's doing shit like Squarespace and all that
Right.
stuff. He got rid of all that. Like basically, he only owns like 1% of this. But he's the face of Twitter. That's the fucking
But
problem.
all I'm saying is it's self-preservation
Yeah.
for like 3 Apple, Google, Amazon, and a handful of others. They're all it's self-preservation mode.
Yeah.
That's all it is because they know that the Democrats are the ones that'll come after them for monopolistic behavior.
That's the thing, though. These fucking liberals out here on the internet who are touchdown dancing this shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like they just won the fucking Super Bowl. Yeah. Have fun with that when that shit gets turned on you, motherfucker.
That's what
'cause
I
it's-
always say.
It's happening.
Yeah, I always say that like when certain policies come out, it's like, well, how come you're so against that policy? Our guy put that in. I go, yeah. What happens when the other guy gets a hold of it?
That's what I'm saying.
know?
They're opening this Pandora's box, and they're gonna like. They're not gonna like the end of it. So that's why when I see all these comics being like talking like telling all these jokes about it, how it's great. I'm like, they're gonna come for you next, man. Unless you
thank
toe
you.
the company line and you just make fucking stupid jokes and you like don't actually push the fucking
Yeah,
envelope.
AOC said we're going to be, or the lists for everybody if you're not in line with her,
I just think it's
ideology.
fucked up.
The one thing that I hope eventually comes out of this is that when we realize that we shouldn't have put our free speech into the hands of a company.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We didn't hold on to the internet the way we should have, and we let these companies create almost internets within internets
Oh, yeah.
that we have to exist within their world. We let this happen. The internet was originally just supposed to be for the free communication of ideas, whatever it is. We allowed people to
Oh, it was so great.
present that visually in an
if
exciting
I
and
can-
self-serving manner. It's
If
like
I can give you your own internet, imagine an internet tailored just to you that lets you feed all the crackpot ideas you believe in any given direction.
yeah, why not?
Isn't that going to be amazing for you? Here you go, man. It's called Facebook.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Friends are there.
But you now exist.
That guy
in our-
you had a crush on in high school was there.
Yep.
Dude, everyone's there.
And you
Why
can
aren't
lurk
you
on
there?
him constantly. Like,
We're going to feed you information. We're going to take all of your information. We're going to sell it. We're
the-
going to feed you ideas,
that-
whether you want them or not.
but that was like because for the last 100 years or so, technology has advanced faster than we can grasp what the fuck it actually is
Oh, yeah.
and its impact.
Yeah.
When it comes, you could talk. I mean, if Armstrong was here, you'd talk about vaccines. But you can talk about, we let the automobile kind of get a little out of hand. We let the aircraft get a little out of hand. We had to
Define a little out of hand.
when they became literally rolling death traps and they were like, all right, like more people are dying because the car is completely unsafe, that because we just said faster, go, awesome.
You're talking like the 40s and 50s?
Right.
Okay.
Like right
Oh,
up
we used to
until
watch
Nader was
crash
just like
videos in Driver's Ed where
Like
they
no fucking head thing.
Yeah.
No fucking,
Or like-
Because if you think about like where cars are now, I watched this video today, James, of a 2,000 horsepower twin turbo Viper
oh hell yeah.
that when it does a standing mile burns 8 gallons of gas.
that's the
We
sexiest
need
thing
that.
in the
You
world.
need to get to work.
But you know what? Thanks
I'm
to
working on a
Ralph
turbo
Nader.
Suburban.
Thanks
Oh,
to
no-
Ralph
oh, dude,
Nader, it probably had a seatbelt.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, it was
Airbags.
built after like 81 or
But
whatever.
but when you think about it, it used to be just people like literally in a giant hurling thing with terrible brakes. They can go stupid fast with
Dude,
no
do you know how many
no
cars I
seat
owned
belt.
from the 70s with drum brakes?
Oh, they're the worst.
Dude, you go back like,
Oh. No, I mean, I hate when I point this shit out. Not on the show, but I'm saying in general. When I talk to people and stuff, when I point shit like that about what's going to happen, they think you're like a Trump supporter and shit like that, and and that's I think we're just stupid now. I think everyone's fucking dumb.
Yeah, man.
No,
You know what I mean?
I'm
Like-
going to counter this with one thought.
What?
I believe all of us in this room, even if Armstrong's not here, you're a bit older than us, but we've reached that age where we're now looking at it and be like, oh, these dumb fucking kids are supporting this stupid bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
we've been through this. Like, I went through this and you're being dumb. We've hit the generation where we're like, kids are stupid. You won't figure it out.
Well, it's not even the kids. It's just people in general now. Like they
Yeah, man.
Well, they figured out
They-
how to
no,
emotionally manipulate
That's
us.
the thing. Everyone's so fucking emotional. So like, because I've seen people freak out, and you can see it in their eyes. You're like, you're not like telling the truth. Like you're just spitting out shit you've heard, but you're doing it emotionally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just coming at you like, I heard this, and you're like, I'm the worst person ever. It's fucking.
Yeah,
Oh,
how
come
dare
on.
you
come on,
disagree?
What? No. Yes.
No, I'm excited because I
Oh.
agree with you.
Okay. Thank you.
We are the very tail end of the generation that wasn't completely raised by television and schools.
Yeah.
Like there was,
We didn't
there was
have
a
the
little bit of
internet.
parental guide. Yeah, we did not have the internet. There's a little bit of parental guidance if you were lucky enough to get it. But like, I bet all of us still remember jumping bikes off of homemade
Oh,
ramps
hell yeah.
outdoors.
100%.
I still do that.
Dude, I love it.
Come on,
Like
live.
all of
you gotta
that
live.
shit. Yeah, like get out. Like, dude, do you know how many times I bombed down a hill on a skateboard? Like, regardless of rock danger, with no pads, no helmet.
It's
no
like, and
guards.
you're almost
but yeah.
expected to get injured.
Yeah, man.
Your parents are
I
like,
used
"That's
to
how you live."
ride to school in the bed of a pickup truck like 3 days a week.
Dude, hell yeah.
I miss those days, God.
Right?
Yeah.
It was
Mexican
amazing.
shotgun.
But so we're the we're like the very last of that. And as a result, we don't I've been preaching for at least 2 decades now that the way schools are set up, because I saw it happening to my friends. Like I remember when I left, I was still my sister was like a junior, and I still had friends that she was friends with or whatever. But the school started aiming everything not about learning what happened or learning facts or learning comprehensive thought or anything. It was all, hey, this is what's going to be on this test. Here's how to learn to take this test. I saw it coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I realized that they were preaching a lot of shit I didn't agree with in general. Like, I remember my sister started coming home from school, and she'd be like, I learned this today. I'm like, that's nonsense. She's like, no, it's fair. I'm like, fair or not, that's nonsense.
Yeah, and
I saw it as early as like 98, James.
I probably saw it earlier than that when I had when
Yeah, because
when-
you had a good school system.
Yeah,
I bet they were indoctrinating you guys mad young.
well, you would have these those state mandated tests, and that determined the funding that you were going to get from the state.
And
You know?
they wrote the curriculum at that level. My
And-
brother taught history,
I'm-
and like 2 years into his teaching tenure, all of a sudden the curriculum. He told me this that the curriculum all of a sudden became this humanism, it's like secular human frame that everything fits into. So even math is taught toward here's how to be a human the right way.
Yeah.
And it would-
No,
you know.
if I for some reason found a way to get a girl pregnant and I had a person with her, there's no way in hell I'm letting my kid attend like
Public.
elementary, like public schooling. It's private. I don't give a fuck if I can work 3 jobs. Not in this climate.
Yeah.
I mean, your kids are almost out, so it's like it's whatever. But I mean,
Let your kids get whatever education
But I-
they're going to get, because it
Yeah.
normalizes the kid to the world around them.
fair enough.
Yeah, you
To
need it for
homeschool
social
your
Get
kids?
that
not
in.
homeschool.
No, he
not
said
homeschool,
private
private
school. Yeah.
Private school is still a sketchy game. Like, I had friends that went to private school right
Yeah.
up until high school, and then went to a public high school, and they never fully adjusted right.
Okay, fair enough. But I mean,
Like,
yeah,
find, if you legitimately have a kid, get into the best possible school district you can.
yeah.
And then you also have to be responsible for teaching your kids things.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people just let a school system teach their kids, and then they get home and they yell at them and they feed them and they,
Like-
ground them.
I was always I was always really good at math, right?
Yeah.
Like that was really where I excelled, which is why I went into computer science and engineering. That kind of logic
He
clicked
got
with
his
me.
pee-pee hard.
But what was interesting is
Yeah.
that when I first got like hit algebra,
Yeah.
whatever grade that is, that's when my dad, who had been an engineer, he was just like, and I would do these problems. He's like, that's the stupid way of doing that. Like, look at it this way, examine it this way. And then all of a sudden, I'm now in like honors algebra and
Damn.
AP
Yeah,
math because my dad said, "Okay, but do it this way," because and that spoke to me. And
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, okay." And then they're like, "Oh, you're so
That's
good." I was
not
like,
the
"No,
way we taught you.
Yeah,
right."
that's
but,
the thing.
But they actually, because I would get the answer really quick, they were just like, "Oh, okay, you're more advanced than this." That's how I got out of chemistry because he worked for Perkin-Elmer, big chemical
Sure,
company,
why
and
not?
he would just help me.
Well, the reason why I'm saying what I said was because like I don't have any faith in public schooling. I just don't. Because you got, I mean, the math and science stuff. That if it's good, it's good. But whatever. But I'm talking like social science, like your social studies, English, shit like that. I don't trust what they're going to try and pump into my kid's head.
I agree with you, and unfortunately, that's going to be largely on you.
Yeah.
Because that's fallen largely on me. Like my parents didn't do a great job of like describing history. Like my mom, both my parents come out of post World War II.
Yeah.
And it's like, it wasn't until years later that I learned, like, my mom's from Central Europe and learning how the family was actually impacted by all of these things. Like, comes so much later because they don't want to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, but you need
Yeah,
to do
because those are adult issues you can't burden your children with.
but
it's
public
not
school
necessary.
is, I think, more necessary for learning how to add and learning how to interact with other people your age.
Oh yeah.
That's about it.
If
I can learn to
personalization
read-
and the humanization, the interaction, even if it's the shittier end of the public school system, you can compensate for that and you can teach your kids independently. Kids are like, they want to learn.
Oh yeah.
Even if they act like they don't want to learn, they want to learn.
Yeah.
And so you can figure out a way to teach a kid, but like, school is important because it normalizes them to the world that they're growing up in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
as a parent, that's a perspective, because I put my kids in a charter school.
Yeah.
But I got him out before middle school, and it affected my eldest because she really got deep into that charter school shit. And then all of a sudden it was a different world, and it kind of like, it shook her for a while.
Was it like a little bubble and they're kind of like
yeah.
culty sort
Because
of?
my
or-
daughter was learning French all day too. Like she was taught math in French.
Oh,
shit.
damn. That's
Well, I mean, math's universal, but like,
Yeah.
so it's easy to teach.
But the way
teach
you
math
speak
in
it.
any, yeah. But like, so she was like, that's how much French she was learning on any given.
God damn.
so is she fluent now?
Yeah, to this day.
And
Hell yeah, nice.
I'd be completely honest. So, like, my sister and my sister's 4 years younger than I am. She went to private school, I want to say, like, late middle school, like a good, like, private boarding school in New England. I stayed in public school. Like, it's very different. And then she had to, like, come out of that into a college environment. It raises you for college. That's all it does. Private school, like her, I mean, as a result, I did get to meet Ivanka Trump when she was like 17.
Jesus.
So fuckable.
That was a while.
Fair.
Didn't he say that too?
No, he might. He
She's
probably.
so fuckable. She's the best.
And he's
My
right.
daughter's got the
He's
greatest
right.
tits.
You know what? He's right.
Yeah. I support him on this one.
This is
thing.
the one issue I'll vote
Yeah.
on.
I'll go to the grave with this one.
Is your daughter fuckable? Hulk Hogan's daughter, apparently.
Oh,
Did you
she's
see that
fucking.
video?
She's awful.
Brooke?
But did you see? Yeah,
Ugh.
Brooke, but did you see the video where he's like massaging her, like putting suntan lotion,
Yeah,
and he's just like grabbing her? His fingers are in the crack in this video. It's disgusting.
Ah, whatever.
I'm the Hulkster brother. I get the oil everywhere. You can ask Randy Macho Man Savage how it went.
Under bus run.